5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Planning Commission has repeatedly emphasized in its 10th Plan Report the importance of ensuring that the backward classes get adequate benefit from the general progress and that the special programs financed from plan provision should not be used as substitute for the measures necessary to enable these classes to get due advantage from the general progress. But no attempt is, however, made in the midterm appraisal to assess how far this recommendation of the Planning Commission was effectively implemented by the central and the state governments. There is reason to believe that, as before, adequate benefits did not accrue to the backward classes from the general progress. No doubt, some significant progress has been made in the field of education. But here too, shortfalls are very glaring. Our speed in the direction of literacy has not kept pace with the increase of our population, and today there are more illiterates in India than there were in 1951. The midterm appraisal itself confesses that the standard of education, both at the primary and at the secondary stages, has gone down. There has been no improvement so far as the discipline of students is concerned. No attempt whatever has so far been made to cultivate in the students the democratic spirit, to educate them in the art of democratic citizenship, to befit them for discharging their duties as democratic citizens. Despite the recommendations of the Radhakrishnan University Education Commission and of the Mudaliar Secondary Education Commission, the social ideals of education are yet to be determined by this government, and attempts are yet to be made to reorientate our educational system on the basis of those social ideals. The directive principles of state policy required that by January 1961, provision for free and compulsory education for all children up to the age of 14 was to be made by the state. I do not know if even by the end of 11th five-year plan it would be possible for us to provide free and compulsory education to all children up to the age of 14. It is but obvious that in the last 2 years we have not made any significant progress in achieving the social objectives of the Constitution laid down in the directive principles. It might be maintained that I have enlarged the scope of the special objectives. The Planning Commission had no business to limit the scope of the social objectives of the Constitution. It has only to implement the directives for the state. Secondly, I wish to point out that in the 10th five-year plan, special attention was invited to 3 objectives. First, as citizens, men and women equally have the right to adequate means of livelihood. Second, the ownership and control of the material resources of the community are so distributed as best to subserve the common good, and third, the operation of the economic system does not result in the concentration of wealth and means of production to the common detriment. I beg to submit, Madam, that no progress whatever has been made, even in regard to these three social objectives chosen by the Planning Commission for its special consideration in the 10th Five-Year Plan Report. Madam, I may point out that the directive principles of state policy also require the state to pay special attention to the promotion of cottage and rural industries, and even in the 10th Five-Year Plan Report, considerable stress was laid on this matter. But have we really made any significant achievement even in this matter? The midterm appraisal confesses that there has been a certain decline in the production of gur and khandasari and vegetable oils. In many other village industries, relatively a marginal increase is reported. The production of handloom cloth and khadi, no doubt, showed a sizable increase, but at the same time, production is estimated to fall short of the planned target at the end of the 6th plan period by about 100 to 150 million meters in the case of handloom cloth and 50 to 60 million meters in the case of khadi. It is admitted in the midterm appraisal that small industries and industrial estates generally suffered for want of certain raw materials, especially since the onset of emergency. I beg to submit, Madam, that while our government claims to be imbued with the spirit of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation, and claims to stand for the promotion of small-scale industries, cottage and rural industries, as required by the father of the nation, this government is according stepmotherly treatment to the cottage and rural industries as well as to other small-scale industries. Take the case of gur and khandasari. Sometimes the government becomes very enthusiastic about promoting khandasari. Sometimes all sorts of restrictions are imposed on the production of gur and khandasari. The Defence of India rules were used to regulate the supply of sugarcane for producing gur and khandasari.